Aries, hello, Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is going to be your monthly shift reading for May. So we are looking at the shape you are shifting out of in May, the shape you shift into, and what that shape shift looks and feels like for you. So Aries, before we get into your cards here using the Slow Holler Tarot, the image that I saw as I was sitting with your energy was you eating food very slowly, slower than usual. Specifically, I saw you like slurping noodles one by one. And it seemed to be a very intentional process for you, a very sensual experience, even being able to enjoy your food because you're actually tasting it by intentionally slowing down. So we will see how that plays into the cards. Could be a message for you this month about slowing down, about using physical, sensual experiences to become radically present, to become incredibly connected with the experience you're having, rather than like, okay, I have to hurry up and eat my lunch so that I can go on and do this, this, and this. It's like this very intentional slowdown, which is interesting because we are in Taurus season here in the month of May. And that is energy that invites us into sensual experiences, and also with Taurus invites us to slow down. Okay, so Aries, very interesting. Let's get into cards. First, we are asking, what is the shape that Aries is shifting out of in the month of May? Okay, 2 cards. Very good. I'm sure this is a welcome sight for many of you. Shifting out of the 3 of Swords, moving on with the 6 of Swords. Okay, so there's been perhaps with the 3 of Swords here a period of heartbreak, a period of working to clear, because I'm seeing this like smudging, the smoke happening, working to clear away some hurt feelings, maybe some heart pain, some struggles that you have been enduring that have been emotionally taxing. And there's a sense now in May of clearing out that old emotional energy and moving on. The 6 of Swords talks about moving on from rough emotional waters to calmer emotional waters, sort of shifting and directing your vehicle here towards calmer seas, smoother sailing, and we're already seeing that here in your shift. Really interesting. So then what's the shape you're shifting into? What is the shape Aries is shifting into in May? The shape that Aries is shifting into. Okay, we got 1 card. 10 of Cups. Gorgeous. I like the 10 of Cups. You know, in the tarot, these minor suits go from 1 to 10. And Cups is the suit of the emotions. So this is the 10th card in the suit. It is the culmination of that emotional energy. And it's really, there's something really simple about this card. It's a very everyday experience of gathering around perhaps a rain puddle. You know, it's sort of showing me, see all the tears here, which also look like rain in the 3 of Swords. It's almost like after the rain, there's these puddles that actually, if you put your wellies on, you could go out and splash around in them. You know, I'm getting this image of like a child coming out and playing in the puddles in the light of day, and other children coming out and joining, and it's like, oh, I've got my sailboat, well, I've got my bucket, well, I've got a teapot, we can, you know, so like everyone's bringing their own playfulness to the table, and it's this really simple, really dawn of a new day after the dark clouds clear kind of energy. you know, the storm, this like, it's interesting because in those of you that follow my work on Instagram and Patreon, you'll know that for the moon story in the cards that came through for the Taurus new moon, which happened on April 22nd, I got this image, you know, the whole story played out of this storm coming and then in the middle of the day, catching everyone unawares and leaving you feeling a bit stranded out here in this unexpected storm. And then the rainbow that comes with those flash floods. And so this sort of feels like that. This feels like the storm as the shape you're shifting out of, which is quite beautiful. And this feels like the moment the storm has passed and the sun starts peeking through the clouds again, and there's all these puddles and everyone starts kind of coming out of their houses and feeling, okay, there's no rain. It's that sense of relief. It's that sense of renewal. Aries. Okay, I'm loving this for you. So let's look at what that shape shift looks and feels like. What does that shape shift look like for Aries in the month of May? Grab a couple cards here. Great. Oof, oof. Wow. Really, really big cards here, my friend. And they're all kind of saying the same message, which is really interesting. We've got the Lovers, we've got Intersection, which is also the Justice card in the traditional tarot, and the Architect of Knives. And what's really sticking out to me about this shift for you, the experience of this shift, is here in the Lovers card, we see something being cut. These two, you know, this is Gemini energy, and while this is Taurus season, it's also a little bit of Gemini season here in the month of May. We've got some planets shifting their energy into Gemini. And so as we're starting to look at this Gemini energy, this energy of a mirror of seemingly opposite energies and the way that they intertwine, in this particular energy of the Lovers, we're seeing someone deciding to cut that plait, to cut that intertwined, the ways that those energies are braided together, the separation of the twins, so to speak. And then in the Architect of Knives, again, we see this very intentional cut being made with the scalpel. A very intentional slice, funny enough, looking in the mirror. Okay, so Gemini talks about mirroring energy. The Lovers talks about this energy of a mirror, of the ways that we are reflected by back to ourselves, by the people around us. And then here we have the Architect of Knives, the King of Swords, very particularly looking in the mirror and making an intentional slice with the scalpel. There is definitely separation energy here. Separating, I think part of it is separating, because even the Six of Swords has this knife. Very pointed, right? Pointing in a very specific, to a very specific thing, which is this pain in the Three of Swords. So Aries, I think you're separating yourself from whatever it is that has caused you this pain. Whatever it is that perhaps continues to trigger this kind of painful emotional experience for you. It's like you see it clearly now, because the way this knife is pointing to it so specifically, and the ways that these cards are talking about mirrors, perhaps you just see it so clearly, and because you can see it clearly, you're able to make the cut. You're able to recognize this more specific, because I'm seeing this as a very specific cut, the getting more and more specific in the ways that you need to perhaps enact a boundary, or you need to make more specific cuts than you thought. You know, whereas like the scissors is the initial, the Lovers here is the initial cut. It's like when you have really long hair and you want to cut it all and you put it in a ponytail and you make the initial cut. It's non-specific. It's just the necessary Band-Aid that needs to be ripped off, you know? So it's sort of like, okay, hold your breath, cut it all at once. And it's like, you gotta kind of, if you've ever done that, it's really uncomfortable, you know? And it's like not this like process, it's this like kind of hacking away at it process. But then I'm seeing this Architect of Knives as a more refined and intentional cut. Strangely enough, once you are solidly on your own 2 feet, that's how I'm seeing this intersection energy, which is really funny. You know, these aren't necessarily traditional interpretations of the cards for those of you who are new to my work. But going off of the images and the energy I'm feeling from it, it's almost like once you make this initial cut, here's the self-satisfaction of feeling your own freedom, feeling your own sense of justice, since that's what this energy is about. And it's funny that we go from separation to intersection. It's like you are able, through this separation, to reunite with yourself, to find that intersection within yourself again. And look at the confidence, look at the flair, look at it's like you're confidently in your artistic expression again. That's almost the energy of this. And you hold, what is this saying to me? Oh, wow. Okay. Again, for those of you who have been following my work through this pandemic, and perhaps those of you who have watched your April shift readings, and then the reading before that I did, which was a collective reading for the global pandemic, and I pulled a guide for each sign during this experience that we are all having of COVID-19. And your guide, Aries, from the Mary L. Tarot is the 10 of Pentacles, the 10 of Discs. Look at this ram holding a mobile of Pentacles, and look at the Justice card, this intersection card, holding a mobile of like little dots, little pentacles, little discs. How weird is that, Aries? Oof, I love when that happens. So whatever this energy is, this energy of sort of gathering up, I've been talking about this energy for you as gathering up all of your own inner resources, your own sense of security, your own talents, your own abilities, your own stability, like gathering it up within you and then using that almost as helium to rise above, to float up above everything, above where you have been. And that's exactly what we're seeing. It's almost like this is the cut, cutting the string of the balloon, and here you rise up, and it's actually that rising up above this emotionally charged energy that you've been steeped in, that gives you this incredibly profound sense of confidence in yourself, of your own personal balance. It's like you're standing, I'm seeing these lips as your lips, Aries, and it's like you're standing on your own expression. You know, it's like, this is my expression. This is what my mouth has to say. This is how I speak. And that is the sort of like, it's sort of a sense of you regaining control you know, control is an illusion. We have much less control than we would like to believe we have, but there is a sense of you regaining some sense of power over your circumstances and power over your situation and over your life and over your emotional experience. And it's like once you do that after the initial cut, then you can have the perspective right up in the clouds here, this bird's eye view. Ooh, interesting bird's eye view as I show you the owl. You've got the perspective, you've got the wisdom to see what further cuts need to be made. It's like after you make the initial cut, then you can kind of step back and look in the mirror and go, okay, now we can refine. Now let's get the nice scissors out, you know, and kind of start making some layers and start creating a shape to this new do. That's the energy here, Aries. Now you know where to make the cuts because you're standing in your own energy. And again, it's like, because you've done this, the clouds have parted for you. These like dark emotional clouds seem to have parted, and now you're ready to like kind of tentatively come out into the light of day and blink in the sunlight and look around, and everything's still dripping wet, but the droplets of water are sparkling in the sun, you know, and there's puddles everywhere that are like reflecting this beautiful sunlight. And you're like, all right, let me get my wellies on and play. That's the idea here. It's a really beautiful shift. I'm loving all of the imagery that's coming through for you, Aries. So, my friend, before we dive into the extended reading and hash all of this out and try to see, okay, what exactly is this cut that's being made, and how is this shifting you, I want to leave you with a card from the Octaspaman podcast deck. Okay, so for those of you who are interested in continuing this reading with me, this is only the first half of your reading. If you want to continue the reading, you can follow the link in the description box below and join me on Patreon. Patreon is a community that I have set up for folks online, for folks that have been following my work for some time. If that's you and you know my stuff is resonating with you every month or what have you, and you'd like to dive deeper, Patreon's the place to do it. So click the link in the description and we'll get you this extended for the Aries May shift. Okay, let's get you a final card here, my friend. Final word for Aries in May. You just can't write this stuff. I mean, look at this. Never doubt your instinct. And look what we've got. How wild is this? The parallel imagery is so good. It's so good. I'm telling you, Aries, I'm talking to somebody that knows. They've got this gut knowing, this instinct that whatever this is needs to be severed. And you know, maybe this is a relationship. Again, we'll dive into this into the extended and see if we can get more specifics. But it's like, maybe this is a relationship or some sort of emotional tie that you're realizing just like instinctually isn't feeling good. It's like instinctually, you know, that's the thing that's keeping you in this energy and it's time to move on from it. And so in order to do that, that cut needs to be made. And it's like, if that is you and you're feeling that, don't doubt your instinct. Do it. You know, it's like, do what needs to be done for you to be confidently in your own expression again, to be confidently in your own understanding of yourself and your own expression of yourself, I think is really what's coming through here. For those storm clouds to pass and for you to feel like you can play again and enjoy your emotional experience again. Gosh. You know, this could also be talking a little more subtly, a little more energetically, metaphorically. This could be an energy within your own self that you are separating from. Okay, so take it how it resonates, especially in the Octaspaman deck. That's almost what that looks like here. You know, a twin within yourself, this energy, this juxtaposing energy within yourself that you're needing to become disentangled from in some way. All right, Aries, I can't wait to dive into this deeper in the extended. Maybe I'll see you over there, okay? But if not, regardless, thank you so much for joining me here in your May shift reading. If you are enjoying this reading, please do click that like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to stay connected moving forward. Also, if you'd like a personal reading to really get into your specific situation, all my readings are 10% off right now during, as we are still all dealing with the initial onslaught of this pandemic. So please do reach out, go to my website, unseenhandshealing.com, get in touch, and we will connect further. All right, Aries, take care. I'll talk to you soon. Lightness of being. I can't say it enough. If you are finding yourself in heaviness, you are missing the mark. That's just like what I keep wanting to tell you. Like, if you find yourself going down rabbit holes of like heavy emotional stuff again, or like past pain and or like approaching your relationships from a place of heaviness, approaching your art from a place of heaviness, approaching your work from a heavy energy. No. It's you are burying your true child self. And that child that energy within you, that's the artist. And that's the one that needs to put on their wellies and come out now. And come play. It's gonna bring balance.